Being a former NBA champion and an 8-time NBA All-Star should be enough to establish yourself as a world-class player. But this is the NBA, so you better think again. Despite achieving all that, former Cleveland man Kyrie Irving is still trying to prove his worth in the NBA. And, in an attempt to re-establish his NBA career once again, he has made the move to the Dallas Mavericks. Well, gifted talents not living up to their potential is an age-old tale in the world of sports. We've seen it many times. And as soon as Kyrie made his debut for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2011, we knew we had a player on our hands. He just had it all. He was fast, could see a pass from a mile away, and his ball handling skills were off the charts. If I'm being completely honest, the NBA hasn't seen a better ball handler than Kyrie Irving in the last 20 or 30 years.
When Kyrie notices this, he uses one quick pound dribble to stop on a dime and then rises up. Kyrie is great at quickly accelerating to get downhill. He uses this to his advantage. Despite the defender closely guarding him, his first step is so quick that he can explode right by him to get into the paint. Watch on this play, the second he gets the ball, he instantly rips to the left.
And you better believe, I haven't even started exaggerating things yet. His time with the Cleveland Cavaliers was clearly the most successful period of his career. That was the time when people thought that he'll go on to become an MVP-level basketballer.
Well, I know you guys are probably criticizing all our mistakes and stuff like that, rightfully so. But so it's gonna take some time to get it to where we need it as a team. But I feel like we're an underrated deep team. We got a few young guys that can make some buckets. We got some shooters out here that aren't.
And that claim wasn't a stretch by any sense of the imagination. But ever since he left the Cavs back in 2017, his career has been on a downward trajectory, as he has been moving from franchise to franchise in search of some stability in his career, and he's on the move again, making the switch from Brooklyn to Mark Cuban's Dallas Mavericks. But you must be thinking, how did things get so bad for him in Brooklyn?
I remember the first time I came in and got introduced to the team. Thank you to Donnie and Nelly and everybody that's been part of this ride. I walked up and I could just see you mouthing the words to Nash. Hell no.
Well, Kyrie must have felt betrayed. Kyrie's time with the Brooklyn Nets has been largely unsuccessful. It was just one controversy after another, where he kept on missing games for different reasons. First, it was the injury problems.
A very physical game as Irving throws it in, goes down hard on his right shoulder as Kyrie Irving holding that right shin and banging the court. Injuries all season long, including their stars. Looked like he came down.
And as if that wasn't enough, COVID-19 broke out in 2020. Well, Kyrie didn't really help himself either, as he rarely does. The former Boston Celtics point guard refused to get vaccinated against COVID. No vaccination meant that he couldn't play any home games until last season, because of the strict regulations placed in the state of New York against COVID. Despite having to miss half of the season, Kyrie never agreed to get vaccinated. However, COVID also blew over, and it looked like the 2022-23 NBA season would be the breakout season for him. A season where he'll make a comeback and re-establish himself as one of the best players in the league. But with how things had been going for him, was that ever going to happen? Unlikely! See, Kyrie got involved in another controversy later in the season for posting material on his social media accounts that were anti-Semitic. Once that post blew up and got viral, the Brooklyn Nets didn't wait around for too long. Kyrie being Kyrie didn't do much to deny the allegations put up against him. However, he did complain afterward about how the media didn't give him a fair chance to explain himself. Well, not just the media. The Nets also didn't give him much time to explain himself and suspended him right away, which must have annoyed the former NBA champion. But that's not the only reason. All was not right at the Brooklyn Nets anyway. The Nets had big aspirations when they decided to sign Kevin Durant. They also signed other superstars like Kyrie Irving and even James Harden for a short time, and they didn't exactly make it a secret. It was quite clear that they wanted to build a super team that would go on to challenge the big boys of the NBA. A team that would go deep into the playoff and compete for the NBA championship title. But I have to be honest, I haven't seen a train being derailed from its journey this bad. Forget winning the championship, the Nets have only made it past the first round of the playoff once in the last 4 seasons. And if you think their performances on the court were bad, boy, off the court, the Nets were a total mess. Just 5 5 months ago, before the new season started, starman Kevin Durant also requested a trade. It was reported that Durant issued an ultimatum stating that he won't stay if the Nets don't fire head coach Steve Nash. However, Durant later denied saying that, and it looked like he wasn't lying as the Nets started the new season with both Durant and Steve Nash at the franchise. However, that didn't continue for long as Steve Nash was fired shortly afterward, and by the looks of that situation, things were never going to end well between Kyrie and the Nets. But if you ask me, Kyrie's move to Dallas is a win-win. Irving's bad time in the NBA can't be put on the Nets alone. That has pretty much been the story for Uncle Drew ever since he stepped out of Cleveland. Since his move to the Boston Celtics back in 2017, Kyrie hasn't played 70 games in any of the last 5 seasons. Injury problems and whatnot. He just couldn't get a regular run of games in, especially in his time with Brooklyn. However, what's interesting is that even in his bad times, the former Cavs man never lost his scoring touch. In each of the seasons he's played for the Brooklyn Nets, he has been scoring at an average of more than 25 points per game. How many games did he manage to play? Well, that's a whole other story. But this is why I think his move to Dallas works out well for both parties. Kyrie has been in good form so far this season. In the 40 games he has played, he has scored an average of 27.1 points per game. He also looks to be fitter than he has been for a while, and the Mavericks would be thrilled to have him considering they don't have any 20 points a game player other than Doncic. Dallas is currently sitting in 5th in the Western Conference and would be targeting a deep run into the NBA playoffs. And with Kyrie on board, who knows how far they can go, because the Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd certainly thinks he can make them a title contender. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad a deal for Brooklyn either. The Nets would definitely be relieved to see the back of Kyrie. Even if they don't admit it publicly, there's no denying that Kyrie in Brooklyn was nothing short of a nightmare for them. He wasn't able to put in the performances all of us hoped he would. If that wasn't enough, he also brought in a lot of unwanted attention from the media with his numerous issues. And boy, if the Nets didn't have enough controversies to deal with on their own. On top of that, I also feel like there was a general feeling of mistrust between him and the Nets because of the situation that developed earlier on in the season with his suspension, and it just didn't seem like a resolvable conflict. Other than that, Brooklyn also got a lot out of the deal. They received Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith along with 3 future draft picks. Dinwiddie has been one of Dallas's better performers.
Draws the double, gives it up, Dinwiddie for 3, and it goes down! Back-to-back game winner, Spencer Dinwiddie! He did it Sunday in Boston! He does it tonight!
While the future draft picks could come in really handy for the Brooklyn Nets, especially considering the fact that the Nets will soon have to look toward rebuilding their squad. Well, that's all, folks. Let's see how Kyrie holds up in Dallas. See you all in the next video.